To find nature at its most exuberant, to see the greatest show of genetic diversity on Earth, one must go to the jungle. The tropical rainforest biodiversity is so vast that even today it remains largely unexplored. Of the hundreds of thousands of plant species that thrive here, scientists have only taken a close look at an estimated 1%. Over 50% of the world's known plant and animal species live on a mere 6% of the Earth's surface. A concentration of life only possible because of the rainforest's multi-layered habitats, nature's version of the high-rise. The watery basement, ground floor, understory, middle story, upper story or canopy, and the emergent zone. We may think of the rainforest as a faraway place, but we're surrounded by its products. 1 out of 4 purchases from our local pharmacists is derived from a rainforest plant. The greatest civilization to emerge from the rainforest, the Mayans, believed the world tree, or Wakachan, was the central axis holding underworld, earth, and heaven together. And from the Wakachan, all things flowed. The tree of life is rooted in many creation myths. From the Old Testament story comes the tree of knowledge, which offered Adam and Eve temptation. From Buddhism comes the tree of enlightenment, for it was under the fig tree that Buddha received enlightenment. Just as all things flowed from the Mayan world tree, so the rainforest offers much to the modern world. Knowledge, temptation, suffering, perhaps even a glimmer of enlightenment. Our fascination with rainforest is not new. In the 19th century, the Palm House in London's Kew Gardens was built to house tropical plants brought back by scientists and explorers. This squirrel monkey is from one of the wettest places on Earth, the South American rainforest. The tropical rainforest averages more than 80 inches of rain a year, yet can vary from 60 to 430 inches in the Hawaiian rainforest. That's up to 35 feet of rain a year. The average temperature remains at 81 degrees throughout the year. The temperature actually changes more from sunrise to sunset than it does from January to June, making evening the winter of the tropics. With so much heat and moisture, the rainforest is constantly recycling its water, like a giant water wheel lifting it into the sky and pouring it back down. 2/3 of the Earth's fresh water is recycled through the Amazon rainforest alone, like this enclosed terrarium, which makes use of the same water again and again. But the rainforest is more than a weather machine. It's a window into the dim past. With a climate that hasn't changed since the late Cretaceous period, it has served as a nursery for tens of millions of years of uninterrupted evolution. Some of these palm species originated over 60 million years ago. The Hoatzin, whose young have claws on their wings, resembles the earliest known birds. "45 million years ago, rainforest covered much of the Earth. Fossilized pollen grains from jungle trees have been found as far north as England. But the Earth's cooling climate pushed the rainforest back until it was only a lush green belt around the equator. Despite its apparent confusion, the rainforest is actually a highly organized environment where evolution provides every species with a niche. its own place where it eats, sleeps, and multiplies. In a process known as co-evolution, many species have evolved in tandem in order to better suit each other's needs, such as the sword-billed hummingbird and the jungle of life. While there are 700 kinds of trees in all of the U.S. and Canada, there are 750 tree species in a mere 25 acres of Malaysian rainforest. Panama contains more bird species than all of North America. There are more fish species in the Amazon than the North Atlantic, and the entire number of ant species in the British Isles can be found in one Peruvian bush. So much animal life would not be possible without lots of food. The rainforest is a vast fruit bowl containing over 3,000 different types of fruit. Papaya and mangoes are among those that have found their way to Western tables. But the first rainforest fruit discovered by Westerners was the banana. Introduced to Europe in 1882, bananas were originally available by prescription only. Today, of course, they're an over-the-counter fruit. But Europeans were aware of the rainforest long before the 19th century. When Columbus landed in the Caribbean in 1492, he said that he had never beheld so fair a thing as the forest that cloaked the shores of the New World. Mountains are filled with trees of 1,000 kinds and tall, so that they seem to touch the sky. From the 15th to the 17th century, the lucrative spice trade lured European explorers to the islands off Southeast Asia. To this day, many of the world's spices are derived from rainforest plants: vanilla, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, tamarind, and pepper. During the 18th and 19th centuries, many scientists exchanged their lab coats for safari jackets and began exploring the rainforest. In 1770, an English chemist found that a marvelous new substance could rub out pencil marks. Rubber got its name, and the eraser was born. Latex, the basis for natural rubber, is the milky white juice of the hevea tree and acts as a defense mechanism that gives bark-eating animals a sticky case of lockjaw. But rubber has been bouncing around Central America for thousands of years. Mayans and Aztecs used a rubber ball in a game that's similar to modern-day basketball and soccer. But the similarities end there. In the original game, the loser was often sacrificed to the gods. By dipping their feet in latex and letting it dry, they also invented the first rubber shoe. Hip boots would be the footwear of choice in the floodplains of the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon and its tributaries contain 5,000 species of fish, with an estimated 2,000 more awaiting discovery. If we were to journey up through the multi-layered habitats of the rainforest, we would begin in the flooded basement. Here in the South American rainforest, the berry-eating tambaqui fish can grow up to 6 feet long. It's an important seed disperser, cracking the hard outer shells of rubber seeds. The sloth, which occasionally descends from the trees for a swim, holds the record for being the slowest moving land animal, and possibly the slowest swimmer. Just as graceful, but far swifter, are river dolphins. They have little use for vision in the murky waters of the Amazon and are almost blind, relying on their superb sonar for navigation. Perhaps it's this ability to find their way in the dark which explains the belief of some Amazonian tribes. At night, dolphins can transform themselves into handsome men and seduce innocent women. Many an unexpected pregnancy has been blamed on a dolphin. The rainforest ground floor. Welcome to the twilight zone. The jungle's upper layers block out so much sunlight that only 1 to 2% reaches the ground floor, shaded and dim, but surprisingly open. The notion of the impenetrable jungle dates back to when the first English explorers traveled into the rainforest in boats. Along the riverbanks, they saw tangled walls of plants and vines that flourished wherever the sun pierces the canopy. Assuming that the entire rainforest looked the same, they named it after the Sanskrit word for thick vegetation, Jangala. Certainly when it comes to a plant's struggle for sunlight, it's a Jangala out there. Some plants steal their nutrients from others. The Rafflesia sinks its roots into climbing vines. With no need for leaves to capture light for energy, it produces the world's largest flower, 39 inches across. Smelling like rotting meat, it's commonly known as the stinking corpse plant. Most plants growing in the rainforest understory wage the war for sunlight with large leaves. The larger the leaf, the more surface area the plant has to capture the elusive spatters of sunlight filtering down from above. Because of their ability to survive in dim light, many of our most popular houseplants originally came from the rainforest understory. Vinca minor, or the common periwinkle, was once known as the flower of death, because condemned prisoners were made to wear garlands of periwinkles on their way to execution. Also called the sorcerer's flower, it was used for its sedative effect and to exorcise evil spirits. And there may be a pollen grain of truth to that. An alkaloid from the rosy periwinkle is used in cancer therapy and has raised the survival rate of childhood leukemia from 20 to 80%. Over 2,000 jungle plants have been identified as having cancer-fighting properties. Even chimps of the African rainforest are aware of plants with curative value. When suffering from stomach trouble or worms, they search for an herb called aspelia. For ants, beetles, weevils, termites, millipedes, and worms, the rainforest is a giant chef's salad, providing an endless supply of plant matter. Sweat bees quickly descend on a dead lizard. Just the advanced detail among legions of other species on rock patrol. Accelerated by constant heat and humidity, invisible fungi and bacteria are on round-the-clock decomposition duty, feeding on a steady rain of organic matter. These rainforest cleanup crews are so efficient, the forest floors stay surprisingly clean. Unlike human street sweepers, the rainforest sanitation crew is never overwhelmed by the endless rain of leafy confetti falling from the giant trees above. And they never surrender. For some rainforest animals, the ground is an alien place. This lemur from Madagascar, called a sifarka, has evolved such long limbs for life in the trees that walking is a real stretch. But the animals that should be skipping through the forest are the ones with the fewest predators, such as this tiger from India, the biggest jungle cat. One rainforest animal thought to be most frightening is the gorilla, the subject of such fictions as King Kong. In fact, it's quite shy and gentle. If the mountain gorilla has a mean streak at all, it's towards vegetation. Its diet includes 50 different kinds of plants. When bamboo shoots are in season, an adult female will eat 40 pounds a day. An adult male, twice her size, consumes about 75 pounds. Although squirrel monkeys will visit the ground, they spend most of their lives in the trees, living in groups ranging in size from a dozen to several hundred. The rainforest understory extends from ground level to about 30 feet up. Here, water can be found in bromeliads, special plants that hold pools of rain in their leaves. Some bromeliads can hold as much as 2 gallons. These microhabitats serve as watering holes and are home to tree frogs, salamanders, beetles, flatworms, flies, spiders, and even crabs. They also serve as nurseries for insect larvae and frogs' eggs. When a chimpanzee decides it's bedtime, it climbs into the understory and makes a fresh bed of leaves. This forest layer is occupied by various low-level climbers, such as tarsiers, aye-ayes, lorises, bush babies, and jaguars, the second largest jungle cat. The jaguar was worshipped by the Indians of Central America. The Mayans made him their jaguar sun king. The highest order of Aztec warriors was the jaguar knights. The Aztecs believed the fruit of one understory tree, the cocoa tree, was the food of the gods, and they used it to create the first version of heavenly hot chocolate. Heaven for a species of moth is the fur of a sloth, a slow-motion carpet ride shared with fleas, ticks, beetles, and algae. When the sloth descends to the ground to defecate, the moth jumps off, lays her eggs in the dung, and catches her ride back up to the canopy. But the rainforest's most popular dance of interdependence is the endless parade. While there's a profusion of pollination going on in the jungle, there's also an abundance of seed dispersal. Since there's no wind under the rainforest canopy, fruit trees rely on birds, bats, and other animals to spread their seeds. To attract seed dispersers, rainforest trees usually have brightly colored fruit. One of the most interesting dispersal stories is that of the fig and the fruit bat. Fig trees thrive here, and fruit bats do an excellent job of feeding on figs and then voiding the seeds over the forest. But a bat's digestive juice is an acid bath to a fig seed. So the fig has evolved a laxative in its fruit, ensuring speedy passage through the bat's digestive system. In Samoa, it's estimated that over 80% of the seeds deposited on the ground are dropped by fruit bats in what's called seed rain. Perhaps the most notorious fig is the strangler fig. It sends prop roots down a host tree, then overruns the entire tree, finally smothering its victim inside a living coffin. The rainforest middle story is really a travel zone, an airy highway consisting of tree trunks and vines, or lianas, leading to the canopy 75 feet above the ground. Lianas don't waste energy in growing thick trunks. They use trees to support them, climbing quickly from the ground into the canopy, where they grow leaves, flowers, and fruit of their own. The middle story's most famous traveler, Tarzan, actually swung from lianas that were no longer attached to the ground. In other words, dead lianas. The real experts are gibbons. With the longest arms of all primates, they swing through the trees with the greatest of ease. In contrast to the tailless gibbons, some animals have a prehensile tail, or fifth limb, like this woolly monkey. Hang gliding is another mode of transportation in the airy middle story. With web-like skin, some frogs and squirrels are excellent gliders. There's even a flying tree snake from Southeast Asia, which can flatten its body and glide over 50 yards. If there's any place in the rainforest that can truly be called a jungle, it's the upper story, or canopy. It's a canopy that reveals the rainforest's greatest powers. A thick green shroud that catches 99% of the light, the canopy accounts for 90% of the rainforest photosynthesis. It's a great pumping station that returns huge quantities of water back into the sky. A gigantic air filter that inhales millions of tons of carbon dioxide a year, recycles it, and exhales oxygen, the breath of animal life. A sturdy shield, the canopy protects the soil from the destructive power of the rains. It's a largely unexplored territory, home to thousands of plants and animals yet to be discovered. But how do so many species manage to live their entire lives without ever touching the ground? Food for canopy dwellers comes from the bounty of leaves, fruit, and prey. Soil supplied by the steady decay of plant matter accumulates on the canopy's branches, providing a firm footing and nutrients for an abundance of greenery. There are industrious plants like epiphytes which grow on other plants without harming them. They're power plants filtering water and capturing solar energy. There are sinister plants. For many insects, this yellow pitcher plant is a watering hole they'll never leave. An insect stopping in for a drink slides down the slippery walls and falls into a vat of digestive juice. Some pitcher plants are 12 inches deep and hold up to 2 quarts of liquid. Scorpions, lizards, and even rats have been found in their traps. 2/3 of the estimated 35,000 species of orchids are found in tropical rainforests. The orchid mantis has adapted to go incognito. It's perfectly camouflaged as it waits for unsuspecting prey, and there are plenty of victims to choose from. It's estimated that the canopy layer alone is home to over 100,000 species of insects. Including one of the largest known insects, the atlas moth, with a 12-inch wingspan. When it comes to jungle calls, the switchboard is always crowded. Above the canopy is the emergent zone, the rainforest windswept penthouse. The crowns of the tallest trees tower 200 feet above the rainforest floor. The giant tualang trees of Malaysia reach 230 feet, the tallest on record rising to 285 feet. The emergent zone is often a dangerous place for a bird to fly. In Africa, they do so at great risk because of a formidable predator, the African crowned eagle. With its hunting skills and powerful talons, it can pluck a bird or even a monkey out of a tree. Mayan belief in a world tree from which all things flowed is myth. The 20th century notion that the rainforest is an endless source of plenty, never to be depleted, is merely an illusion. Since the turn of the century, the rainforest has been diminished by half. At present rates of destruction, in 40 years, it will be gone. It was once written, "The forest is a peculiar organism of unlimited kindness and benevolence that makes no demands for its sustenance and extends generously the products of its life activity. It offers protection to all beings, offering shade even to the axeman who destroys it." The writer was Buddha, who received enlightenment under a fig tree.
The Eyewitness Museum, created by combining traditional filmmaking techniques with state-of-the-art graphics, stripping away the mysteries of nature and science to reveal the essence of each subject. Bringing the world into sharp focus. The making of Eyewitness. The distinct style of the Eyewitness books is the basis for each of the programs. Each half-hour episode is based on a book title. The Eyewitness book's visual style gives the program makers a starting point and a challenge. The challenge of transferring the clarity and super-realism into moving images and sound. Now let's take a look behind the scenes at the making of Jungle. When we asked our art director to build us a rainforest inside the Eyewitness studio, he thought we were joking, but not for long. Once the daunting task had been costed and planned, the whole thing came together within 2 days. First of all, tree trunks, both real and manufactured, were put in position. Our plant experts had bushes, plants and flowers flown in from all over the world. Vines and creepers were attached to the trees. And a carpet of ground vegetation was laid out. In order to make the set secure for our squirrel monkeys, nets were then placed around the whole set. And the set dressing was made secure for the monkeys to clamber over. The cameraman had to work fast to photograph the monkey travelling through the set. Except when it stopped for a drink. The monkeys were provided by a primate sanctuary in Sussex, England. Most of them had been hand-reared as pets and then cared for by Penny at the sanctuary when their owners found them too much to handle. They immediately felt at home in the rainforest set. squirrel monkeys are very inquisitive. In order to stop them running riot all over the studio, each set had to be completely enclosed in close mesh netting. In the shots used for the film, the netting was removed electronically to give a clean white background. Some monkeys were shot against a blue background. In the edit suite, this could then be changed to a background of our choice. A contoured blue background was built which matched exactly the shape of a small Waka-chan model. By reducing the size of the monkey, we could show the impressive scale of the Inca Tree of Life.